What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Been a while since I recorded the match. That's good right there. A nice display of sportsmanship. One would expect from players this good. Joshua Schmidt and Billy Brake, both players held in high regard. I know, Billy is a three-time YCS champ, possibly a four-time. Joshua Schmidt, an amazing player in his own regards. And I thought I'd go ahead and bring this back. And I'm talking about doing like matches from YCSs. I think a lot of people are maybe not interested in seeing the entire matches, but definitely seeing like the finals. So this is the finals of YCS Bochum 2016. What makes this event really special is the fact that this is the largest European YCS ever, and that's pretty damn significant because there's been a lot of them in Germany and Spain and just a whole bunch of other different places. Paleozoics versus Metalfoes. If you know anything about Billy Brake, or you've kept up with him like on the House of Champs channel, then you guys pretty much know he thinks the world of Metalfoes. I believe he opened with double max C. I don't really know how good this opening hand is. And what's super important to know about Billy's deck is he ditched Gofu and he went back to the Cleefort Monolith version, which I never understood why people dropped it. I think his reasoning was, and he said that he just wanted his deck to be as consistent as possible. It didn't necessarily have to be as powerful as possible, but I'm sorry, anytime you can just make a Cyber Dragon Infinity basically for one card, like, is that not just amazing? You play your Scout, you get your Cleefort Monolith, and then you're able to basically blow up your Scout, pendulum summon them back. At the same time, when you blow up your Scout, you also just get value for the Scout because you're able to just, I don't know, place like a fusion or whatever on the field, Metalfoes counter, whatever. All right, so it looks like he opened with a Painful Decision, and I think that's Gold Driver, and looks like he's just going to attack. Okay, pretty spicy play. I mean, I guess he figures attacking into 4 back row really isn't that big of a problem because, like, you're not gonna use a Mirror Force on just a regular, 1900 monster. Like, who does that? All right, so I believe he used Volflame on. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. I totally don't know the effect one, the effect Metalfoes. I don't know its name. I know what it does. I know that it gives you another Metalfoes. Like when you pop it, it basically like triggers and then it gets you like another Metalfoes. So I wonder how the Max C is going to come into play here because they're both rocking Max Cs. Billy obviously has both of them in his opening hand, and then Josh has his still in his hand. So I think Maxi might be. I don't know. I feel like it only gets one card out of both decks. Maybe if you use it on Fusion, then Billy might. I guess early if you use it on like Fusion, then maybe you stop them from pendulum summoning and giving you another plus. So. Or giving like I don't know. I think it's not gonna give either player that many cards. All right, so Billy does go for so he went for fusion and then he maxied, and that's gonna give him one card. Actually, that was a great time to use the maxi there because now, like I said, if Billy tries to pendulum summon, then he's giving Joshua more cards. And honestly, him going into Mithrium, I don't really know how much value you're gonna get out of Mithrium right here. Because it looks like he is going to no, he's not triggering an effect. He's putting fusion back in his deck to draw a card. I thought he was using the effect. I was like, I don't know about that, man. All right. Yeah, I thought maybe he was going to use the effect. I was like bouncing a random back row in main phase 2. I don't really know how good that is. Now, if you notice, they're both using white sleeves. I don't. That's kind of interesting. Usually, they play with like the top 8 sleeves or whatever. Oh my, Billy is he's playing full Magic Specters. That is a Magic Specter cat. That's crazy because usually you only see Bambaku and Kirin. He is gonna pendulum summon. Okay, wow, okay, well, he gave Joshua the +1. I'm kind of shocked by that, but I think he just wanted to set up a good board, knowing that all he really has is the Max C's in his hand. Now, it looks like he drew a Gold Driver. He may have drawn a Gold Driver off of the Metalfoes Fusion. And then looks like he's going into end phase, and end phase he's going to search another copy of Gold Driver, which means I believe he's out of Gold Drivers, right? Because the first one was thrown in the graveyard, and the second one's on the field, and then the third's in his hand. So, yeah, he should be out of those. Interesting that he gave him the card just to get the 1900 on board. You know what he might be planning on doing? He might be planning on just attacking next turn and not really doing anything else. Because he does have it, like if you have 6,100 life points, he's got a bunch of monsters on board. All right, so he's activating one of the Paleozoics, and I think this might be the Foolish Burial. That's another thing you guys are gonna have to excuse me on. I know the cards, but I don't know them by their artwork, unless it's like Opabinia, like the XC. Like, don't ask me to know them damn cards by just like looking at them. All right, so this is the Foolish Burial. I wish they just would have named them like, you know, Paleozoic Destiny Draw, Paleozoic MST, Paleozoic Book of Moon, Paleozoic Shrink. Like that would have been so much easier for players. So he activates the Foolish Burial, and I think he maybe going to use Reckless Greed here to get one of them Paleozoics out. Like he needs to try and establish a board here. The problem with Metalfoes with Paleos is always kind of been getting rid of big monsters on the field. Oh, and a Maxi is played from Billy Break. Why am I so shocked? He has two of them. Oh my goodness. The idiot Cap G. I'm like, why am I so shocked he has two? Wow, these you know what? I feel so stupid for what I said earlier. I think Maxi is going to be huge here because he's not going to be able to mount, he's not going to be able to mount Billy's board here. And he probably won't be able to make Totally Awesome unless he's going to have to give him a billion cards if he goes Totally Awesome here. All right, so he goes Reckless, draws 2 cards. Honestly, I think if he had a Solemn Strike, I would not even think about it. I would definitely would have Solemn Striked. Looks like he drew looks like he may have drawn a Volflame. Okay, so still has a lot of Metalfoes in his hands, but he's got scales, so he can just obviously pendulum. Now, the question is, what did Joshua draw off of the Reckless Greed, and was it worth it? You're seeing a lot of players play Reckless Greed and Paleozoic. We saw that at YCS Anaheim. It's just a really, really good card. It would just be a shame. Oh, them ultimate swap frogs coming through. All right, so he drops the Rodent Totem in the grave, and those things are so much money, man. I couldn't do that. Oh, he has a Solemn Strike. Oh, that would have been just so clutch if he would have had it last turn. Looks like he's gonna bounce. He has Dupe Frog, and obviously he probably don't want to special the what's it called? Probably doesn't want to special summon the Swap Frog, because then you're committed and your opponent has the Max C, so you know Billy would just be drawing a billion cards at that point. And this deck doesn't really have the offense to like OTK or anything like that. He has a Compulse card that I think is super good. I actually like Compulsory Evacuation Device here. Oh, he is going to go for the Totally Awesome. Okay, so he gives him the plus. Both players, it's crazy. Both players are willing to give the pluses from Max C. Okay. Now, I actually think that that's worth, because if he can compulse the Mithrium, at least he can deal with that problem, and then he can ideally get his field with a Dupe Frog and Totally Awesome, and you know, be pretty good right there. Like hopefully he can use that and try and make like a good stunny type board. The Solemn Strike has to get him there. Now Billy drew another copy of Summoner's Art. It could get him Cleafort Scout, but I think it would be kind of pointless at this point. He is going to go in the battle phase, and he attacks over Gold Driver. It being a Pendulum goes to the extra deck, and I wonder if immediately in draw phase, he has to, right? Immediately in draw phase, don't you just go ahead and spend the Mithrium? Like, I think that's the best play, because it gets it off the board. You don't have to worry about it. It's a fat triggering. Looks like he's going to set 2 cards. Keep in mind, guys, he does not get draw phases, so what he's doing here has to get him there. Now, I think Billy's going to Max C this. All right, so he's going to activate Totally Awesome's effect. And once again, we will see a Max C. Does he maybe want to Solemn Strike it? No, it looks like he's not. Okay, so he does not Solemn Strike it. And does he get Swap Frog, or does he get the Dupe Frog? I would imagine you get the Dupe Frog. All right, he's going to get the Dupe Frog in defense mode. Good gravy, that thing is shiny. That thing is glaring all over the place. All right, he does have Dimensional Barrier. And, oh man, here's the thing, right? If you could evac the Mithrium and then maybe use your D-Barrier and call Fusion, or not Fusion, but call XC, or not, oh my goodness, I can't get it out, call Pendulum, then you could be in really good shape, man. Because you could basically just stun Billy for a turn, maybe try and get some battle damage. Oh, a tribute summon. Oh my. Oh, that was so. Oh, that was such a good play. You should have. I would have. See, this is why I would have evac'd immediately in draw phase. Oh no, that was. Oh, well, I guess he could use. If Kieran tries to activate its ability, he could use D barrier. All right, so it looks like he's going to use the D barrier on. He's probably going to call Pendulum, but it looks like he's chaining it. Yeah, he is going to chain it, unfortunately. I don't know why he debarriered without letting him. I guess he was scared of a Pendulum summon. But, oh, no. I think he's trying to use it on Mithrium. He's trying to make sure that Mithrium will not be able to summon one of the Pendulums. Okay, that must be what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that Mithrium won't be able to summon anything good. All right, and looks like Totally Awesome got bounced. That's unfortunate. Ow, man. All right, so Summoner's Art is going to be played by Billy. I think Josh may have misplayed. I think what he honestly should have done is as soon as draw phase came around, I would have immediately just evac'd the what's it called. I think I just would have immediately evac'd the Mithrium just to get it off the field, because you know that you don't have to worry about anything at that point. Now he has used the D barrier. We're assuming that he has called Pendulum at this point because Mithrium didn't summon anything back. If I messed up, I know when Mithrium leaves the field, I know she like summons something back. I'm pretty sure a Metalfoes monster. And I think that Billy probably wanted to summon what's it called. All right, looks like Billy passed turn. No draw phase for Joshua Schmidt. He's going to summon that Swap Frog. Now, okay, look, it's not completely bleak. If Joshua is going to if he's going to make a stand, he needs to do it right now. He is not under Max E. Finally, keep in mind he has played 2 turns under Max E, so he has been extremely limited, and he doesn't have a draw phase, so he's still limited too. But he has to make this turn count. He has a Swap Frog and he has to do for. He needs to summon a Totally Awesome, and he needs to make this play count. We know that Billy has the Kieran, obviously, but he does have the Solemn Strike to counter a Pendulum. All right, so it looks like he's playing one of his Paleozoics, and I'm just trying to he's going to summon one of them. And which one was? I'm not sure which Paleozoic effect that was, honestly. Oh, that was the what's it called? That's the one that gets the banish card. Oh, he goes into Opabenia. It does not go into Totally Awesome yet. Okay. Does he maybe want to get the MST one to pop some Pendulum skills? I don't think that. I don't think popping skills matters at this point. Billy has so many cards in his hand. Like, there's no way he can't complete a Pendulum skill. I think popping skills would just be, oh, shut me up. He popped the scale. He totally popped the scale. I just thought popping a scale wouldn't. I think maybe he just wanted to use an effect to get something off the board. All right. Well, hey, you know what? Billy is going off. Oh, is he going to summon the one that requires 3? That card is so good. It can pop cards during both players' turns. It's really good. All right, and he activates another MST. And, oh man, he's going in now. Oh my goodness. Could this be the comeback? Now he has to do, he has to do 7,700 damage. So this is kind of amazing because this is all without a draw phase. That's why I'm kind of geeked out right now. All right, he still has the evac set, I believe. He has an evac to my knowledge. And it has to be evac and Solemn Strike then, right? That has to be the 2 cards. Has to be Compulsory Evacuation Device and Solemn Strike Arena. Now, what else can he maybe go for a Cat Shark play, or what else could he be possibly doing? Okay, I think he detached and he may have targeted his own Paleozoic. I believe that those are unaffected by your monster effects as well. I think he just wanted to get something in the graveyard. Yeah, I think he wanted to just get something in the graveyard. Another Ronin Totem is going to be summoned. I mean, he's using a lot of resources, but if he can game Billy, then obviously it's worthwhile. You know, it doesn't really matter in Yu-Gi-Oh! How many resources you use. If you use every resource you have, if you win the duel, it just doesn't matter. You know, you see Minerva Swarm do this consistently. Oh, he's going for Daigusto Phoenix. Okay, that's a double attacker who does 3,000 damage. And his Paleozoic is 1,200. Okay. All right. So, is that game? Because 3,000... Oh, I believe he's going to evac one of his cards, and then he's going to summon one of his Paleozoics and attack for game. Oh my goodness! Joshua Schmidt, the Paleo God, takes game 1 in amazing fashion. Holy goodness. You know what? I will not question his not using evac earlier in the turn again. Whoa. Okay, I'm going to turn the volume up for this. All right, they're not really saying anything. That was an amazing play. I gotta say, I know that Paleozoic can play the grind game extremely strong. I know they have a lot of removal, but I didn't know the offense was that good. Like, I mean, I know they have some good plays with like Cat Shark, but the Digustal Phoenix coming in clutch. He was able to do 3,000 damage with the Digustal. I think that the XC is, I could be wrong about this, I believe it's like 2,300 attack. I don't own one. I own a couple of Opabinias because I play like Cherries and my Dart Magicians. I banish it. Hopefully, if I'm playing against that deck. Same thing with Totally Awesome. But, okay, so 3,000 with the Phoenix, 1,200 with the Paleo, possibly 2,300 with the XC, and then if he had another Paleo attack, which would be 1,200, yeah, because Billy was not at 8,000 life points. So, you know, if he's able to do another attack, ow, that hurt. That game looked like it was so in Billy's favor. It had everything going for him. He had 2 turns of Maxi, and he had 2 turns of Maxi. He had the Kieran that got a lot of value for him. And I don't know. I really didn't see that I didn't see that happening, especially when Joshua did that without a draw phase. Like, that's the most impressive part. So Billy breaks stunned in game 1. See, this is why I don't understand when people say, oh, it's a die roll format. Whoever goes first wins. Like, that was a duel that was not decided by who went first. I don't believe that at all, that Joshua Schmidt won that duel because he went first. I think the deep barrier won him the game, honestly. When Billy, even though Billy got rid of the Totally Awesome, the fact that Billy couldn't do anything after that, the fact that he didn't have any fusion plays, or he didn't have like any other like normal summon or anything like that, he didn't have any just like any other ways of special summoning and putting a board, I think that was really what won Joshua the game, because Joshua was able to go on the Swap Frog, and even though he lost his TA, he was basically able to just recover at that point. Once he started just activating traps, once he made Opabinia, I was like, I think he's going for something pretty spicy here. I was kind of surprised he went after the Pendulum Zones. I think he more or less just needed to be able to activate traps so that he could activate his Paleos from the graveyard. Is Paleozoic the best deck of the format? What? This is crazy. All right, so let's see what Billy has. Billy opens with Silvered, and Silvered's going to pop Magispector Kitty, and looks like he has a Mystical Space Typhoon. That's probably for Anti-Spell Fragrance. Alright, so I believe that is Metalfoes' combination that he said. I don't know, guys. I'm like, I don't like this hand, dude. Maybe this hand oh god, 2 D barriers. Maybe this hand turns into God mode, but I don't like this hand, guys. I don't like this hand by Billy, especially considering he had to use his MST. Alright, Silver is going to pop another Silver. That gets a Metalfoes Fusion, and I think he didn't shuffle because he's going back in. Yeah, I think he's probably going back in. All right, he's gonna pop Silvered and counter. Does he play counter? Let's find out. All right, I think I saw a Rescue Bunny on top of his deck. Yeah, I definitely see a Rescue Rabbit. What is he getting at this point? Oh, I think, you know what? I don't know. I think I may have seen a Kaiku. Did you guys see a Kaiku? I think I totally saw a Kaiku to make it so that the Paleos would get banished if he does any actually, no, they don't get banished. Huh, I don't know about that. Yeah, they actually don't get banished. What am I talking about? Misinformation by MegaCapitalG. All right, so he's popping his other scale, and this is the one that searches. And is he going to activate Cat's Effect? You know what? I'm not gonna lie. This opening hand didn't look that good, but it's starting to look extremely good now. Especially considering he's gonna draw a card off of the Metalfoes Fusion. Like, I was really down on this hand, but it's looking really good. Bismugear, that's his name. Okay, Bismugear. I'm gonna just call him Bismu, or maybe I'll just call it Metalfoes Gear. Yeah, I didn't really like the looks of this opening hand. Now the thing is, the fact that Joshua Schmidt has double D barriers means that he could potentially lock Billy out of Pendulum Summoning for basically forever. He could say, you know what, you're just not going to Pendulum Summon this game. And he did have to give up his Mystical Space Typhoon, which is important because Anti-Spell Fragrance, man, if Joshua gets an Anti-Spell, that thing is probably just going to live forever. All right, he gets Bumbunku, obviously setting up for Bumbunku to get Kieran. And this field actually looks very similar to the field that he had last duel. So in game 1, let's see how Josh is going to counter this field. All right, and he has a Metalfoes counter set, and then he has the full metal fusion, the basically the quick play one, the one that is in essence is kind of like El Shaddai fusion. All right, what's he gonna do here? I don't know what card he drew, so I'm gonna have to basically wait for them to kind of reveal that. I guess that's another reason why Metalfoes players like playing Mystical Space Typhoon over something like Twin Twister, is because if you need to blow up your own like combo, your combination piece, then it's just better because you don't have to like discard. All right, opens up with a Swap Frog, dumps Rodent Totem in the graveyard. Looks like he's probably gonna go for Alkahest if he can summon it. Off the top of my head, I honestly don't know Alkahest's summoning conditions. Is it 2 Metalfoes? Is it just 2 Metalfoes monsters? I'm just gonna assume that he has the Alkahest play, and that he's probably gonna try and absorb the Swap Frog here, just to try and make sure that it doesn't like go back to Billy's hand, and that he can't use it constantly over and over. Also important that he will not get it in the graveyard as well, which would be super important. Okay, looks like he is going to use that fusion, and out comes Mr. Edward L. Rick, and Volflame is going to be summoned back by the Mithrium effect. Okay, so I knew Mithrium. You know, it's kind of dumb. I'm looking at a deck box, my Dark Magician deck. I've got a Mithrium in there. I could have just looked at it. Ooh, let me turn off my alarm on my phone. That is pretty big because, again, Billy has essentially it's not just that Swap Frog doesn't go back to his hand. It's the fact that it doesn't go to the graveyard. So he can't use his Rodent Totem, and it's basically trapped there. And now we look at these double D barriers, guys, and we think, is this a curse? Because like they don't stop any battle damage. If your opponent already has an established board, D barrier doesn't really stop that. Now is the time for Mirror Forces. Now I wonder if he does play Mirror Forces. Oh Lord, he has Reckless Greed. He does activate D-Barrier immediately, and I don't know if he just called Pendulum or if he called Fusion. All right, looks like Billy is going to play Monolith, and he's going to pop that. It's kind of interesting. He's gotten Monolith both games, but we still haven't really seen Scout yet. Okay, so pops the Monolith, and what's he going to set now? Is he going to possibly set a counter? No, he decides to go for Metalfoes Fusion. Now you know what? This will actually determine if he called Fusion or if he called Pendulum here. I imagine that. Well, I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50 because I mean, even if Billy Pendulum, it'd only be Pendulum summoning one monster anyway. So I don't know how effective that's going to be. My concern for Joshua is battle damage. I don't really care about what Billy could potentially summon here. I'm just looking at the damage on board, and it's a lot of damage. Volflame has, I think, 2,400. You got the Bambanku, that's like 1,200. So a lot of battle damage. Okay, yeah, he called Pendulum because Billy is going to Fusion summon. Fusion Shoko. Oh, no, not Fusion. Yu-Go Shoko. That's what they say on this show. Yu-Go Shokan. All right, he goes for Mithrium. And he's got some cards in his grave that he could obviously use Mithrium's effect. He's got the Full Metal Fusion. He's got a combo in there. He can use the effect. Looks like Billy's going to draw a card from Metalfoes Fusion. I'm just so sad for Swap Frog, man. It sucks that he never got to really get Swap. I mean, even Swap Frog in the graveyard is much more important than if it dies. You just don't want your Swap Frog to be incapacitated. You don't want it to be in a position where you can't use it. Like, you would have rather just summon Swap Frog into a Solemn Warning, because at least it dies and you can use it later in the game. Alright, looks like he's going to use Solemn Strike on Mithrium. Alright, and at least that'll die. He'll get rid of that, but he does have to give up 1,500 life points. He's going to need a lot out of this Reckless Greed. Well, yeah, if he lives through this turn, which he's not going to Pendulum Summon because he can't. Yeah, I'd imagine he's going to need a lot out of Reckless Greed, plus his draw phase. You never know what's going to happen. All right, so Volflame is going to go into battle phase and attack. Now, here's the thing. We have not seen any battle traps from Joshua Schmidt. Battle traps are extremely popular in Paleozoics, and I'm wondering about that. Wondering if he doesn't run any, or if maybe he just hasn't drawn them. Paleozoic, like 90% of the deck is like traps, so you'd have to imagine. We also haven't seen any real massive draw cards. No Card of the Demise, no pots, none of those. All right, so he's going to flip that Reckless Greed over, but, I mean, you really want value out of your traps when you activate them in Paleos. You want to be summoning more Paleos off of them. I don't get a good vibe out of this Reckless Greed, because usually when you Reckless Greed, you want to summon a Paleo in his graveyard. He got a Swap Frog, but against Alkahest, man, I don't know. I imagine that he really wanted to save that Solemn for Alkahest to just try and get rid of it, so that he could get his Swap Frogs online. Now he drew another Reckless Greed, that's cool, but you gotta get the next turn. You gotta get the next turn before you can plan it, because you're not getting a draw phase next turn. Well, actually the Reckless Greed cancels out that, but yeah, you gotta worry about battle damage and Alkahest being a pain in the butt right here. Now he could use that set D barrier to turn off the Alkahest. That could be a possibility. Alright, so he is going to go Swap Frog, and he's going into his deck. He needs to kill Alkahest. If he can kill Alkahest, and then, alright, D-Barrier should be flipped to kill Alkahest. Alright, good. Or not to kill it, but to negate it. If he can, if he can make a Totally Awesome and maybe mount his board, the Solemn Warning could hold, that could be the key to victory here, possibly. Maybe being able to negate a Pendulum Summon with that. That is probably the only path that I see for victory for Joshua Schmidt right here, because he don't all his board is naked, man. The only thing he's got on that board is a Swap Frog. All right, so he dumps the Dupe Frog immediately. He goes to banish it to summon a Rodent Totem, and let's see, can he make a miracle happen? We know cards in his hand are Solemn Warning and Reckless Greed, but Reckless Greed isn't exactly known as a defensive card. All right, and looks like he's going to summon another, Oh, I think he had Rodent Totem in his hand, and I think he pitched it to summon another Swap Frog, or to special summon Swap Frog, let's just say that. All right, so maybe he's going to drop a Dupe Frog. No, he drops another Swap Frog, okay. All right, so he does have, he has Exceed plays here. They just have to be big, and he has to 1,000% get rid of Alkahest. That is the number one thing he has to get rid of. I'm not even sure if he goes for Totally Awesome. I think he might go for Obabenia. Is that Logos that he's looking at? Is that crumpled Logos that he's looking at? That could be. Now, I'm not sure if that's the solution here. I think he's looking at his extra deck and he's like, what gets rid of this problem that I have? What gets rid of this board? And again, I think Billy has a counter set too. So if he kills something, he could be looking at another monster hitting the board as well. Man, Joshua Schmidt, you were in a tight. It makes it so worse. He just doesn't get his draw phases. But again, he has Reckless to cancel that out. But again, it's not a defensive card. All right, what's he gonna go for? Oh, he goes for Sky Cavalry. That's an interesting play. Goes for Sky Cavalry. That is essentially it's a bouncer. It attacks monsters, and then you basically just bounce them. Alright, so it looks like he's going to attack and bounce the Alkahest. Oh, you know what's important about this? His Swap Frog will fall into the graveyard, and then he'll obviously be able to use it again. Okay, Swap Frog goes to the graveyard. Maybe that was his plan. I don't know. He does... okay, so he's going to summon Rodent Totem back, and double Rodent Totems. Alright, okay, look, he has a play here, possibly. I'm not gonna lie, this is a play that I did not see coming. I think now you go for Totally Awesome, because I think you need defense. I think you need defensive power. I don't think that Obabenia would be the right play. I think Totally Awesome gives you a negate, and it gives you an attack blocker in Dupe Frog. So I think that's probably the right call. All right, so that was not terrible. All right, so now TA is going to probably get him Dupe Frog in defense mode. It does, and what he has right now, these 5 cards, basically have to win him the game, because the only support that he's getting is from the Reckless Greed. Well, and I guess Totally Awesome getting him a monster back. So maybe that's an exaggerated statement. How's Billy gonna counter? Now, if Billy massively Pendulum Summons, I think he loses the game. I think he outright loses the game, because we know that he has Solemn Warning, but Billy doesn't know that, and I think Billy could. Oh man, that Solemn Warning could completely change this duel around. You know what? I actually think Joshua Schmidt might be in a great position, because he knows that he doesn't have to fear Billy's back row. Like, these back row, they're not traps. It's not like anything that he does is gonna get like Solemn Strike or anything like that. Maybe that might be the bit of the downfall with Billy's deck, is that, you know, there's no traps, so you don't have to worry about any of that. All right, so Josh has the Reckless Greed, and obviously he has the Solemn set. And Billy activated Summoner's Art. Still no signs of Cyber Dragon Infinity. I'm a little upset about that. Puts a Kieran in the Pendulum Scale. I wonder if he's just gonna pop it, or if he's gonna, because you want a Pendulum Summon Kieran, right? Yeah, you want a Pendulum Summon it. And you know what? I think Billy could be walking straight into an RKO out of nowhere. He does pop it. I say that because if you look at these two duels, how has Joshua basically been? How has he been fighting against? How has he been fighting against the Pendulum Summon? Like he hasn't really used Solemns. He's been using D barriers to stop the Pendulum Summoning. And I don't know, maybe at this point, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Like if your opponent doesn't activate a card all game, you kind of forget that maybe it exists. And Billy hasn't really had to deal with any Solemns or, like strikes messing with his Pendulum Summons. So maybe he massively Pendulum Summons in the warning and just gets blown out. Now he activated counter, Metalfoes counter. And maybe he gets another Volflame and tries to go into like a spicy XC play. That'd be kind of cool. I think it's, oh yeah, it is. Okay, maybe you go into a rank 7. I believe that it's a rank 7. Or maybe he tries to force through the Totally Awesome. That could be what he tries to do here. Because he could obviously attack the Dupe Frog, trigger the effect, and then maybe attack the Totally Awesome and try and get the negation out. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because then you wouldn't really get any, your Pendulum would have to come in main phase 2, where you don't really get any like offensive pressure from it until the next turn, obviously. So he does have the 2 Volflames. Maybe he goes for a Big Eye play or something like that. I think attacking one might be a little better, but again, if you immediately go into battle phase, you kind of waste your Pendulum Summon, or at least the potential. Oh, Archfiend Eccentric is huge here. That is going to basically force out the what's it called? That forces out the Totally Awesome effect. Because obviously he targeted Totally Awesome, and that is huge. Again, guys, we know Reckless Greed is not doing anything in this situation. So I think he actually, does opts to just let it die. Okay. All right. Lets it die. And I think he may have gotten, I'm not sure what he got out of his graveyard. I think he got a Rodent Totem back. Not sure if that was Rodent Totem or Swap. I think his Swap Frogs were banished. So I think he just got Rodent Totem back. Now this is pretty important. Billy has set the scales, and it looks like he's Pendulum Summoning. Joshua has to use Solemn on this. If he goes Kieran plus, it doesn't matter what he goes for. As long as it's more than one monster, you have to Solemn it. Because his board will just be too big at that point. Maybe he's going to summon the Archfiend back and Kieran. I don't know. I don't think Billy loses off the Pendulum. Because he just said, look how many monsters he has in his extra deck. All right, 1, 2, 3, all Magispectors. All right, there's the Solemn we knew was coming. So Magispectors are no longer in this game. But you have to look at Billy's extra deck. He still has so many monsters in there. Like, he could easily still do a really good play. And then it looks like Joshua's back is still against the wall, where he is pretty much relying on, he's kind of like relying on his Reckless Greed at this point. All right, so Mithrium's going to come out. Mithrium's probably going to bounce Mithrium's probably going to try and bounce Sky Cavalry. Now the question is, do you attack the Dupe Frog? Or would you just try and bounce it? This is a good question. Man, this is really, what's rough about this duel, honestly, is he just has not seen any Paleozoics. This is great. We're like, how many cards has he gone through? I see 3 banished cards. I'm counting on my screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 cards in his graveyard. Like 3 cards on the face. He's not seen any Paleozoics, and that is just if you played the deck, man, that's brutal, guys. All right, so Sky Cavalry is Gonzo. Now the important thing is he does get Swap Frog in the graveyard, so that's at least he has that going for him, I guess. The question is, do you attack the Dupe Frog? I don't really think you do. I don't know. This is like one of those kind of bad in either situations, because if you attack it, you give him another Swap Frog, but he is kind of low on frogs, possibly. Looks like Billy's gonna pop some cards. All right. Goodbye, Gold Driver. And Billy's gonna set Combination. I think he might be running low on spells and traps, but then again, Fusion is just always a card that just, okay, he does not attack. I didn't think you attacked because you don't want to give him the Swap Frog, even though I don't know. I guess he could ram it into the Mithrin, but that would just cost him a lot of damage. Plus, actually, no, he can't. He's at 2,100 life points. No, he can't. He can't take. He can't take the what's it called. I think what Billy's trying to do is he's trying to just set up for a play where he can just bounce the Duke Frog and then attack for game, knowing that next turn he has a massive pendulum summoning coming his way. Anyways, looks like he got Wabaku. He has the Rodent Totem that he got from TA, and he got a Paleozoic card. I'm not sure which one that is. If it's D-Draw, if it's Shrink. It better be MST, because if it's D-Draw, it's dead. If it's Shrink, it's dead. I don't even think he plays the Shrink. If it's Book of Moon, it's dead. He kind of needs it to be like if it's the one that gets the banished ones, that's dead too. So I don't know, man. We could be seeing a potential GG here. He's got Wabaku. Well, no, he has Wabaku to stall, but man, just not getting any draws. All right, so he's going to normal. So, oh no, Vanity's Emptiness. Konami, please ban. All right, I think you got to call GG on that point. Vanity's Emptiness coming in too clutch. And if you think Billy Break can't summon, you're obviously mistaken. He will immediately blow that shit up with Vol Flame. Actually, he might. Actually, no. Why not just attack Rodentone and just win? I'm like, wait, why blow up your Vanity? You can just attack Rodentone and just win. I mean, I guess he can still Wabaku though. But Billy doesn't know he can Wabaku. I don't think there's any reason to turn the Vanities off when you can just attack. You have a Rodentone in attack mode. I think Rodentone has like what? It's either 0 or 100 attack. It's not a lot of attack. It's not a lot of offensive presence. The question is, does Billy want to go for a massive pendulum summon? And that would obviously, make it so that he turns off his Vanities by blowing it up. But he doesn't have to. He could just keep him locked under Vanities if he really fears the back row. Looks like he's blowing up the Vanities. No, he's not. Excuse me, no, he's not. He's using Mithrium's effect. Oh my goodness, can Mithrium actually bounce your own Vanities? That is, oh, no. Oh, hold on, I'm pulling out my deck box. Listen to that, pulling out the deck box. Hold on, I gotta read the card. If Mithrium can actually target your own, oh my god, no. I thought it was just opponent's cards. Let me read this check. You can only use the effect if this card. No. You can target 2 Metalfoes cards in your graveyard and 1 card on the field. Shuffle the targets from your graveyard into the deck, and if you do, return the target on the field to the hand. Oh my god, that is so broken. She can actually bounce. I never knew she could bounce your own Vanities. That's too dumb. That is too dumb. This is, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Cleaford back in the day when they used to stealth their own Vanities and put it back in their hand. Like, that is too dumb. All right, I think Billy Break has this one in the bag. I don't really see a path for victory for Joshua Schmidt. If he wins this duel, granted he has the Wabaku, so he's not going to die. If he wins this duel, that will be one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen in my... Because he has to play through Vanities, and immediately he flips over Vanities again. This is too stupid. Immediately flips over Vanities again. I did not know that she could actually... I did not know she could bounce your own cards. Wow. Alright, so he puts the Ronin Totem in defense mode for obvious reasons. Does he still actually... I think he still might have the Wabaku on the board. Yeah, I think he actually still might have the Wabaku. Alright, so we see an army of Bambakus coming down. I believe that Billy may have just tried to XC there, but obviously he cannot. Vanities gets blown up. Okay, he has to blow up his Vanities now. Yeah, he cannot exceed summon while Vanity's Emptiness is on the field. I never knew that she could actually bounce your own cards. I thought that she could only bounce your opponent's cards. Konami, research and development, please. All right, so Josh is looking through his graveyard, and are we going to see a break sword here? No, Totem Bird. Oh, clutch play. All right, Josh sees the Totem Bird, and he scoops it up. All right, we're going into game 3. This is an amazing match. Oh my goodness, the apple for you need to eat the apple, Joshua Smith. Eat the apple. I think if he takes a bite, maybe this is like a Snow White type of situation. All right, what happened in Snow White? I think, hold on, in Snow White, I think she took a bite of the apple because it was like the best looking apple ever. And then I think that's when she went into the coma, right? I'm going back to like very, very young Capital G. I'm thinking back to like the early 90s when I was like, 5-6 years old when I first saw like Snow White. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, then the witch like poisoned the apple. So Maybe, oh my God, that could be a bait. Maybe Joshua Schmidt is like trying to give the apple to Billy, and he's like, Billy, this is good apple here. And then Billy, you know, falls asleep, and then he ends up losing the match by DQ. So, all right, we're going to game 3. Have not seen any battle traps. I would like for that to change. We have not seen anti-spell fragrance, but it has to be in Joshua Smith's wheelhouse. Come on now. Like, if you're not playing anti-spell fragrance versus a pendulum deck, then something, it doesn't even matter if you play a bunch of spells, like, which Paleozoics don't do for starters, but if you plan on playing against pendulums, like, play anti-spell. It's even good against ABC. Like, they don't play that many spells, but being able to stop, like, Desires and Union Hanger, like, that's enough. Because those are cards that are both, like, pluses for them. And if you can stop Union Hanger, then you basically, like, slow their deck down for a turn. And a 1 turn in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, like, a big deal. When you could possibly set your board up and make it so that, you know, when they summon when they get their Union Hanger off, then obviously things like ABC won't really matter that much because you've already got your applicable defenses. All right, both players having fun. Who is going to win this match? Will it be the hometown hero of Germany? It's kind of funny. I remember thinking, because I don't know anything about geography, I was like, where is Bochum? And I was like, my first guess is just Germany. I was like, I'm just going to guess, because Konami religiously puts a lot of YCSs, or when they do European, they do a lot of events in Germany, which I imagine it must have a really big population compared to a lot of the other countries. I remember thinking, like, if it's not Germany, maybe it's like, I was like, man, how many European countries like there's the Netherlands and it's all these other countries. I don't really know that many cities so maybe it's like in the Netherlands or something like that. But I was like, it's probably Germany. Oh my, he's got the Denko Sekka. Oh man, guys, this could be terrible. This has the potential to be really, really, really bad for Joshua Schmidt. Hold on, are they in time? No.
We will know who the winner is. As a Duke Frog.
Oh my goodness. I think they are legitimately in time. That is so... if that T... Oh my God, they're actually in time. Denko Sekka! Oh, baby. Denko Sekka. Oh gosh. Denko Sekka may have just won the duel. I think that is so stupid that they have time in the finals. Konami, please. Please. Why do you have time in the finals? This is dumb. This is like the stupidest thing ever. Because I mean, wouldn't that potentially lead to ties? Like what? I mean, it's probably unlikely to happen, but all right. Denko Sekka, the waifu, coming down. All right, looks like he's going to set the Kirin. Oh, no, he's taking it back. He's like, hold up. Yeah, he's thinking, if he summons Kirin, I think the game's over. Yes, this duel is over. This duel is 1,000,000,000% over. Billy has Rescue Rabbits. Unless Josh was going to shark him immediately. This duel, it doesn't matter. As long as he gets Kirin on board, it's over. Because he's able to just bounce the face down card, and he's just able to do massive damage. We might even see... he already normal summoned. I was like, he might even see... Not LTK, but... Alright, there's a bounce. And I think this duel is just... the power of Denko Sekka, guys. I learned about that from Shadows. There's no point of looking at them face down cards. It's Regeki or bust, guys. Even Regeki, they're in time, so I'm not quite sure Regeki really does it for them. Yeah, it's basically Regeki or bust at this point. A lot of people have taken Regeki out of their decks, but when you have things like Denko, oh, Pot of Desires. Okay, let's heart of the cards. Is he going to get the Regeki? Is he going to get something that's big? Maybe he can get Swap Frog and a couple of frogs. That would also do it. Because he could get something, he could possibly get like Swap Frog, dump the Rodenton in the graveyard, special summon. Oh, GG no re. He didn't get it. Denko Sekka, congratulations. Billy Break. America won a European YC. And you just look at the emotion from Billy Break. He's so happy. Such an excellent duelist. Person that is well deserved of the victory. I have so much respect for Billy Break. Heck, I even put him on my top 10 players of all time. Congratulations, Billy. I think that the finals, even though Game 3 was a swift and quick beatdown, I still think this was absolutely a fantastic finals and just a really good event. I don't know why so many people complain about the format. These matches are exciting to me. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up button for my man Billy Brake and Joshua Schmidt. You don't need to hold your head down, man. You still played extremely well. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribe if you have not already.